You said you always do this. And here's what happened next, because we know that never goes well, right? You know the phrase, you always do this. When we say it, why does it not land well? You know what I mean? Because I can walk you through exactly what happens after you say that phrase in a particular conversation. Not in theory, but like in real time based on my experience, because I'm somebody who has said that a lot, not in my recent life, but previous engagements, I would say. But I guarantee you've said it yourself, and I guarantee once it landed, it wasn't a smooth landing. It was a plane crash. You know what I'm saying? So I guess let's go here, right? Picture this. You you come home, um, maybe it's a bill that's overdue, maybe you leave some shoes out, maybe your partner or the person you're dating doesn't do something they said they were going to do, right? Or maybe y'all are out and they whip out their phone within 2 minutes of being together for a date night or something. And you know, you are disappointed because you had expectations. You have already communicated that you don't like what they are going to do when they do it, or what they forget every time they forget to do it, or how they operate every time they do a certain task, right? Um, and that's the moment. That's the fork in the road where instead of, saying what's actually true, which is this stresses me out, or I don't like carrying this by myself, or I wish you would participate with me, the first thing you say is, you always do this every single time. And here's the thing. It's not it's not wrong when you say that, because you are right. If they always do this, they do always do this, and it pisses you off, right? If you say, "Hey, every time we go out, before we even get to have time together or have a conversation, you pick up your phone, you check your phone, you start texting, you got to take a picture of the meal, you want to take a selfie. Like you always do this. We can't even get comfortable before you have to grab your phone or show people what you're doing. Or, hey, every time I leave the house and when I come home, it's a mess, even though you say you're going to clean up your mess. You always do this. Or, hey, you missed this, or you forgot to text me the information about that. You always do this. It's a truth, it's a real truth, and it's stressing you out, and you feel like you're carrying this alone. And so now you gotta let it out, right? That's how I feel at times too, right? That's how I felt before too. So what do you do now? Because the plane has crashed. You thought it was gonna land and they were gonna take accountability. No, no, no. No, 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 no. So what happens next, right? Because the second those words come out, the other person doesn't hear, I'm stressed or I'm disappointed that we can't spend time together. They don't hear, I want to be with you, or I wish you would just clean up your mess sometimes. That ain't what they hear. They hear an attack on on their character, an indictment on who they are as a person. They're irresponsible. They're insecure. They're seeking attention from people. They're seeking validation from others, and that triggers them, right? So what do they do now? They bring out the bazooka. They're going into defense mode. They just letting off. They ready to let off shots, right? They defend, and now everything goes flat because now they're like, oh, okay, so now I'm the person who does everything wrong. Bah! Bah! Now I can't make you happy. Maybe we shouldn't be together, right? They walk out the room. All those things happen because now they have to fight. There's fight or flee. And most people gonna fight, then they gonna flee. And you don't mean for that to happen, but you also don't want them to continue doing the same thing over and over again. And I get that because behavior permitted is behavior repeated. I get it. I get it. So we are on the same page, me and you. We are alike. But how do you deal with this? Like, let's keep it honest. Like, if you don't, because let's start here. Some of us don't care that we're pissing them off. We've all been there before. So let's put that to the side, right? We've said things intentionally in the past when we know that we are right and we want to piss them off. We don't care. So let's say we're in a good mood today. We like this person today. You're not mad at this person today, but they're doing something that they always do, and you want to let it be known because you don't want it to continue, right? So how do you navigate this when you're not trying to piss them off back, right? Because you don't want to end up in a fight, especially one without a resolution. So, here's the thing. You always feels true in the moment and it feels justified. And this is where you have to leverage your own intellect and emotions and say, is this a fact or is this an accusation, right? Or is this an accusation wearing fact clothes, right? Because sometimes the accusation is a fact and, and you want them to stop. Sometimes it's like, yo, I'm so mad at you about other stuff. I'm saying things because I need you to just stop being you for a moment and get it together. But let's say that this is a fact and an accusation. Regardless, let's skip through all this and just deal with what we said. Let's rewind and have the exact same scene, same problem, same night, same day, same time of day, same date, whatever, same setup, whatever. Instead of saying, you always do this, you got to take a deep breath. And this is where you get them, right? Especially for the fellas. We don't really express ourselves, right? So this is how you can fight fire with fire in a genuine way that also builds connection and helps to establish intimacy. And I don't mean intimacy sexually or anything like that. I just mean intimacy in a way that brings you closer together. Connection, communication, all that stuff, right? Whenever something's going on, you can say, I feel stressed when the bills pile up, or I feel stressed when I come home and things aren't the way I left them, or things are still all over the place, especially if I had a long day. You could say, I feel stressed or I feel sad when I can't keep your attention when we're on a date. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a humbling of self. That's what I'll say. It's a humbling of self to meet them at a point that works. That's what I'll say. I'm not saying that you should have to say this, but in order to meet them in a way that is going to work, this is how you structure this communication. You have to, I feel, put in the emotion when you do this. Or when, and matter of fact, take out the when you do this. Explain the situation. I feel stressed when I come home to a mess. I ain't gonna lie. Or I'm kind of sad I can't keep your attention. We just got here. Damn, you already on the phone. Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could kind of let it be known without placing blame. And you could do it in your own way. You could have some charisma about it. You could tell a joke. Like, dang, man, I guess I gotta go take some classes or something. What you mean, babe? I mean, I can't even keep my girl's attention. My lady don't even pay attention to me 5 minutes into our date. She on the phone. You could make it work if you want to. But communicate it in a way where they are almost outside of the conversation with you, observing the situation, right? Like take them out of it and help them to observe it. And then, they might, yeah, that's fair, or you're right, or I'm sorry if I fall behind again, or I had a long day. I didn't prioritize it like I should. I know that you don't like a mess, and that's my bad. All those things, right? It'll change the structure of the conversation, and they won't be in such a defensive mode where they start to project on you, and then you end up in a fight without resolution. Because overall, I don't mind the fight. Right? Like, we don't mind the fight because we're going to stand up for ourselves. You're going to stand up for yourself. I'm going to stand up for myself. Right? But resolution has to come. And typically, if we say, you always do this, no resolution is coming from that. So instead of saying that, say, I solemnly swear, I then put an emotion there when this is going on or when this is happening. But don't say that when you do this. I just thought about that. Don't say, I feel sad when you don't pay attention to me, or I feel stressed when you don't clean up. Say, I feel stressed when I come home and the house is a mess. Say, I feel sad or I feel disappointed when I can't keep your attention when we're on a date. Something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to do it. Cause and effect. Peace. Yo, so if you like what you hear so far, don't forget to subscribe. Now, look, this is honestly the whole idea behind LikeU Cards. I'm Brian from LikeU Cards, if you do not know, but LikeU Cards are an end to awkward conversations. Here's the thing. Everybody talks about the importance of community. Nobody talks about the expense and how expensive it is to be disconnected, right? So, LikeU Cards, yes. It's a card game. It's a deck of conversations cards, but it's not just entertainment. It's infrastructure. Like, you can either have an emotional conversation or you can have a non-emotional platonic conversation, but overall, it will bring you closer to the person that you're talking to. That's what the card game is for. That's what the conversations are about. So subscribe, one, but also get some LikeU Cards. Peace.